I would like to start by saying that perhaps the title or the caption of this motion should have been, instead of general insecurity in Nigeria, should be the menace of Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria. I say so because not quite too long ago, the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, was reported to have said that out of every 10 kidnappers arrested, 7 or 8 are Fulani. In fact, in my own local government, in the recent past, almost all the kidnappers, the highway robbers that have been arrested were all Fulanis. So, Mr. President, we must face this fact. Why is that so? It is because the Fulanis are being encouraged or are being allowed free rein in this country to do whatever they like. I will just tell you one short story. 3 weeks ago, I was informed that some Fulani people were having a conversation. One man is a cattle Fulani or a Fulani herdsman. The other 2 people are town Fulani or Fulani elites. The Fulani elites accused the cattle Fulani of causing insecurity in the country, or especially in our local government, because they had abducted, they have kidnapped a district head, they have kidnapped a prominent community leader. And the cattle Fulanis replied them, he said, we have not read, we are not learned, we don't know anything. The only thing we know is our cows and grazing our cows in the bush. It is you, learned Fulani people, that buy guns and give us and send us on missions. So, Mr. President, we must face this fact that these people are being supported in high places. It must stop. Thank you very much.
We've watched the video from the Senate floor. The atmosphere was tense, emotions high, tempers flared as senators spoke plainly about what they described as a national security emergency. So what exactly is going on, and why should you care? In recent years, Nigeria has grappled with rising insecurity triggered by kidnappings, banditry, attacks on farmers, forest guard killings, and clashes between herders and farming communities. The forest reserves, once considered remote grazing lands or protected greenery, have reportedly turned into hideouts for criminal Fulanis, armed men accused of terrorizing local communities under the cover of darkness. During the Senate debate on a motion titled General Insecurity in Nigeria, lawmakers voiced deep frustration at the government's perceived inaction and demanded swift and decisive moves. Some called for banning open grazing nationwide. Others urged deployment of advanced security tools, drones, helicopters, stronger intelligence operations, and pleaded for state governors to take responsibility in protecting their citizens. One key voice in the Senate insisted we must be careful not to criminalize an entire ethnic group. The warning was loud and clear: these are criminals, not an entire people, and the fight must target crime, not ethnicity. Still, the anger in the chamber was real. Some senators argued that the frequency and brutality of the attacks show this issue cannot wait. They suggested Nigeria should treat insecurity like a national emergency, just as it did with COVID-19. This isn't just about politics. This affects farmers who can no longer safely access their farmland. It affects communities living near forest reserves. It affects every Nigerian who fears for safety. It affects you, me, everyone. So what's the implication for everyday citizens? If criminal elements continue to hide in remote forests, no place may be completely safe. If overgeneralization or ethnic profiling becomes the narrative, we risk fueling deeper divisions and mistrust among communities. The call to ban open grazing or manage herders is not just about stopping crime, it's about protecting livelihoods, safety, and restoring trust. As viewers, Here's something to watch. Will the government respond? Will security agencies act? Will there be real solutions? Or more debates? We'll keep monitoring this story closely and bring updates as they unfold. If you want, I can prepare a full background report, tracing past incidents, forest invader records, government responses and public reactions, to help you understand fully what's at stake. But before that, once again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with live breaking news delivered just like this. You've probably heard about the repeated motion of concern at the Senate lately, not just generic debates, but sharp, urgent calls about what they described as a security emergency, criminals hiding in forest corridors, using forests as hideouts to commit kidnappings, banditry, and terror attacks. What the Senate is doing now. Recently, the Senate passed, for the third time, a bill to establish the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service, NHFSS, which will serve as a specialized forest security outfit. The goal is to create a legal and institutional framework dedicated solely to monitoring, patrolling, and securing Nigeria's vast forest belts. With the proposed law, NHFSS operatives would be armed, as noted by the NHFSS leadership. Moreover, the Senate has passed motions calling on the executive, the office of Bola Tinubu included, to assent to the Forest Security Bill, 2025, and to mobilize security agencies promptly to rescue victims and secure at-risk locations, especially after a spate of kidnappings and attacks allegedly carried out by armed herders and criminal gangs in forested zones. In some of the most severe cases, the Senate has even declared that kidnapping and these forest-based attacks now amount to terrorism, and urged harsher punishments, including an amendment to the Terrorism, Prevention and Prohibition Act to reflect that classification. What the government is saying/doing. On the same wave, the presidency has recently ordered that trained forest guards be deployed nationwide to flush out terrorists and bandits hiding inside forests, part of what is now being described, at the federal level, as a security emergency. The plan, according to the government's public statement, is not only to rely on the NHFSS but also expand recruitment, strengthen intelligence operations, and deploy security forces with better coordination, aiming to ensure there are no more hiding places for agents of evil. Why this matters to us, Nigerians? Because this crisis is no longer confined to remote areas. As forest-based criminals spread, entire communities, farmland, and lives have become vulnerable. Recent incidents include mass kidnappings, displacement of villagers, killings of vigilantes and community leaders, abandonment of farmlands, even schools and local economies grinding to a halt. The Senate's declaration of kidnapping as terrorism signals a shift. Rising insecurity is being treated as a full-blown national emergency, not just isolated criminal incidents. That could mean more resources to tackle it. But it also means that normal life for many Nigerians, especially those living near forest belts, may remain under stress for a while. What remains uncertain, and what you should watch out for. Would the NHFSS be effectively implemented, trained, and properly equipped, or would this amount to just another law on paper? Some security analysts have cautioned that simply deploying forest guards may be inadequate against well-armed criminal gangs. They urge more robust military presence, advanced surveillance, and technology support, like drones, better intelligence. Would the government ensure fair targeting, i.e. going after criminals, not entire ethnic or pastoral communities? This is crucial, because overgeneralization and profiling could deepen social tensions and stigmatization. Will victims, displaced people, kidnapped families, rural communities, get enough protection, rehabilitation, and compensation? The Senate has urged humanitarian aid and support, but implementation remains to be seen. What this could mean for Nigeria's future? If properly handled, this could mark a turning point in Nigeria's fight against banditry, terrorism, and forest-based criminal networks. A functioning forest security service, combined with intelligence reform and community vigilance, might reclaim forest belts, make farmland safe again, and restore confidence in rural livelihoods. On the flip side, mismanaged, underfunded, or discriminatory deployment could backfire. It could lead to rights abuses, increased community tensions, and further destabilization, exactly what many fear would happen if ethnic profiling becomes part of the strategy. So for us, as concerned citizens, now is a time to stay informed, stay alert, and demand accountability. Ask our leaders to implement these reforms fairly, protect vulnerable communities, and ensure security without prejudice. We'll continue monitoring developments closely. As they unfold, new laws, deployments, social reactions, we'll keep bringing you accurate, up-to-date analysis. Once again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next update. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Forest Guard plan will work? Do you fear for your community's safety, or see hope in this new push?